Canelo and Berlanga. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mexican Independence Day week. Welcome to Las Vegas, Nevada.
You said the 8th round knockout. Is that still your prediction?
Yeah, or less.
Or less.
The card is absolutely stacked from top to bottom.
I'm just having fun. Just having fun.
And how do you see Saturday panning out?
And the new.
You know, I'm just chasing history. And, you know, if you believe in yourself 100%, then the sky's the limit.
You know, Garcia's a good fighter, but let's see how he measures up at 160. It's a whole different animal here.
Do you think Canelo keeps the streak alive, or does the unbeaten Edgar Berlanga shock the world in this Mexico versus Puerto Rico matchup?
Viva México, gracias.
¡Viva Puerto Rico, puñetas!
It's prime time!
It is a hot one here in the desert of the fight capital of the world in Las Vegas, but you better expect Saturday night the heat is going to turn up a bit more inside T-Mobile Arena. It's Mexican Independence Day weekend, and no better stage than the Super Middleweight Summit coming Saturday night, PBC on Prime Video Pay-Per-View. Canelo Álvarez versus Edgar Berlanga. So excited to be with you here from Toshiba Plaza, right outside of T-Mobile Arena. Brian Campbell, and do I even have to intro the legends next to me? One of two men to win middleweight and heavyweight titles. Y'all must have never forget how great this guy was. Roy Jones Jr. and still, and how about the creative, the chief content officer of All the Smoke Fight, Hall of Famer himself, and 2004 Olympic medalist, Andre Ward. Fellas, can't say enough how fired up I am to be here, the energy here, and boy, are we gonna break down what is coming your way as Canelo and Berlanga are set to step on the scales. But so excited for fight fans to let you know the fight just one day away, and our partners at DraftKings have a sweet deal for you. New customers who download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and put $5 on any bet instantly get $250 in bonus bets. For a fight this big, do not miss out on the action. Just $5 down and $250 in bonus bets. You can use DraftKings same-game parlays, parlay the winning fighter, however you think it's going to go, whether Canelo will continue his title reign or Berlanga will upset the apple cart. Download that DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use our promo FIGHTS, that's F-I-G-H-T-S, and $5 will get you $250 in bonus bets instantly, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, where the crown is yours. Fellas, this is the big one. It's always the big one when the biggest star in the sport, Canelo Álvarez, steps on the stage. Roy, how does it feel to be around this energy and this excitement one day out?
It's always fun and entertaining to be here. The energy is always the same, but because we are here on this side now, it's a little bit different.
Andre, I don't have to tell you as a great boxer and boxing fan what Mexico versus Puerto Rico means. How much does that influence the action we're expected to see on Saturday?
Well, that's always been a historically great rivalry. I'm not sure these guys are playing that up probably as much as they could, but it's always land beneath the surface. These fans from Mexico and Puerto Rico, you better believe that they have not lost sight of their rivalry historically.
Well, we know, gentlemen, Canelo, he's been here before, been on top of the sport now as a pay-per-view star for 11 years since he fought Floyd Mayweather back in 2013. For Berlanga, it's sort of day one at this level. Roy, you've been in front of the brightest lights possible. What is he in for that even he doesn't know entering tomorrow night?
What he's in for is a lot of drainage that comes from the atmosphere. The people here, the energy, it sucks from you sometimes. And if you've never been in this, you won't understand it. So you don't learn it until you've been in it. And this is what he got to go and see can he deal with this coming weekend. You can't train for the drainage that Roy's talking about. You're in front of more people than you've ever been in front of. You did more interviews. You've never seen a crowd like this at your weigh-in, and you can't train for or be coached up on how you're going to feel when you get to the arena. The main event gets closer. You step out in that and you start looking out and hearing the crowd. You can't train for that
The great ones, even young, they figure out a way to manage it and get through it. The ones that aren't quite ready, they fall victim to it.
Well, if we can say something about the 27-year-old Berlanga, he certainly brings that reputation for big power. Who can forget that 16-fight first-round knockout streak that he began his pro career with? But if we look back at the demeanor we've seen of the New Yorker who proudly represents that Puerto Rican flag, that edge, that swagger is there. He's got Fat Joe in his corner. He's got celebrity clientele. But Roy, what would you make of what we've seen from Berlanga? He's never backed down in the face of Canelo on this press tour. Have you seen that type of steel focus that you need to see?
Yes, when you got 16 fights by knockout, first-round knockouts, nothing should be able to make you go back on who you are. That's who you are. So, yeah, you're going to come out and see, can you make Canelo a first-round knockout? You have Fat Joe, you got the whole New York, you got the whole Puerto Rico supporting you. You have to come out and stand on your word.
You know, Andre, there's been some talk about Berlanga's demeanor, talking with our friends here on All the Smoke Fight, Andre Durrell and Andre Berto the other day, that maybe Berlanga's focusing a little bit too much. And I want you to tell me from your perspective on the critics who say, look, who have you beat to necessarily earn this? And maybe on people, the outsiders, Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo's ex-promoter, who has sort of started a beef back and forth. Should his focus be only on Saul Canelo Alvarez at this moment?
Well, of course it should be, because Oscar's not going to be in there. No fans are going to be there. No writers are going to be there. No pundits are going to be in that ring. It's just going to be him and Canelo. So I think the focus is too much on the Oscar De La Hoyas and people like that. He's got to have a singular focus. At this level, against that type of guy, Canelo, that he's facing, you got to stay locked in, bro. And that's not just, when you walk to the ring. That's leading up to the fight as well. I like some of the bravado. That's just who he is. Everybody deals with pressure different. I was a guy who went inward. I got deep in my thoughts. Some guys express it outwardly. But here's the thing. It's not about being tough. Press conference, weigh in, you got to be tough Saturday night.
That is so true. And Dre, I wanted to stay with you here because for what we do here on All the Smoke Fight, you've really stepped forward, brought your brand, The Art of War, a fantastic show that you kicked off. And the kickoff episode was sitting down with Edgar Berlanga at his training camp in Boulder, Colorado. What did you take away from that experience? It's training camp, but you got to see him loosen up and relax and show his real side.
It was a few takeaways that I had. One of them was that they being he and his team, they're preparing properly. They went to Boulder, Colorado. They got away. They're in the altitude. And listening to him and Coach talk about the preparation, they're doing the best they can to get ready for this moment. But then you also see this dichotomy between a young fighter who's confident but yet searching for confidence. He believes, but yet he's searching for belief. And all of that is part of being young and having your first moment and your first shot. So it doesn't mean everything, but that means something. And we're going to see it play out come Saturday night.
Roy, what was that first moment that you deemed in your career that was your first time on the highest level of the spotlight? What were your emotions, if you recall?
My emotions were, I was just ready to show people that I am what this sport has been missing. I am everything y'all looking for. Here it is right here. It's just a matter of time.
Andre, did you get that feeling like that dog's going to come out of Berlanga Saturday night, that he wants it to be a fight, a war in there, and not necessarily maybe a boxing match?
I think he believes he wants a war, but I don't think that's the right fight that he needs to fight if he's going to beat Canelo Alvarez. Patience, knowing when to fight and not being afraid to rest in certain spots, because Canelo's going to do that. He knows when to step on the gas. He knows when to fight in a round and when to rest. Does Berlanga know that? So it's not about being tough. It's about being wise and smart, knowing when to retreat and when to fight.
Sometimes that wisdom can only come through experience. Yes. Sometimes, though, the great ones find a way to figure it out in real time. Back to Canelo. We know everything he's accomplished, and he's kind of been standing on his business in a lot of ways lately, Roy, saying, you're not going to tell me who I'm going to fight. I'm going to tell you the date. The arena's still going to be packed. What do you make of this version at 34 of Canelo as a businessman calling his own shots?
Well, you always like to see guys call their own shots. However, it's still boxing. And there are fights that the fans still want, and in my humble opinion, they deserve. But he's been around for so long that you give him a pass here and there. It's like Andre was saying yesterday. We don't mind you taking an easy one here and an easy one there, but give us what we want sometimes, too, to keep us interested.
And Canelo's certainly done that throughout his great career. But I guess I like the edge where he's saying, Dre, I've beaten everybody. And if you pick one guy, there's always going to be another guy in line. Saturday night, that guy is Edgar Berlanga. But do you still feel like that same fire is inside the engine of Big Red?
I believe the fire's still there, but I just think he's more business-minded than legacy-minded. I believe Canelo's at a place where he feels like my legacy is locked. Why would I take unnecessary risk at my age with the amount of fights and rounds that I have under my belt against a young guy like Benavidez or somebody like him? I agree with what Roy said. You shouldn't take a hard fight every fight out. You shouldn't answer every barking dog when you're walking down the street. That's going to happen when you're the top dog. But I don't know any other guy that got a pass like that in terms of a top dog. You got to continue to prove. You got to be tough, then you got to be tough again. So it's fine to handpick a guy here, a guy there, but for legacy's sake, for the fans' sake, you got to say, man, but this is time to show you that I am who I say that I am.
For sure, for sure. A 19-year career, by the way, for Alvarez. Titles in so many divisions, and has continued to make the biggest fights on the biggest stages. But as a fighter now, 34 years old, and you guys navigated your mid-30s very well. You get to that point where maybe the fastball isn't the same, but you're smarter. You've got that experience. Roy, what have you seen about the last few fights in this new version of Canelo that you've liked, where he's kept his reputation within the pound-for-pound top 10? I don't see a lot of slowage. What do you see?
No, I don't see a lot of slowage. And what I do see is I see him doing more of what he should have done early in his career when he fought like the Mayweathers. He's now learning to put pressure on guys when it's time to put pressure on them, and he knows how to not let them relax, not take his foot off the gas. When you know how to step on that gas and stay on that gas, that's the thing that we learn sometime throughout our career. I think he learned it later, but now I think he has it.
I like what I'm seeing, and I think there is a little bit of him slowing down, and that's not a bad thing.
Sure.
He's got miles on the odometer. It is what it is. But I also love what I'm seeing because you see a fighter now who doesn't feel like he has to fight for 3 minutes in a round. He knows when to pick his spots. You see it. He's not punching, but he's putting physical pressure on you. So you're getting drained without me throwing a punch. And it's a minute 30 left, minute 15 left. I'm going to let the judges remember one thing, and that's me attacking and throwing punches. So he's very efficient, and you have to evolve. You have to evolve if you're going to stay into the game, into a next generation, and that's what Canelo's doing.
That efficiency you brought up is really such a key part, but as you said, he does it at close range, and still that same counterpuncher that we know and love, but puts that mental pressure on you and is on you with close range. There was that sort of narrative a couple years ago, maybe Canelo is a step slow. It turned out to be that hand injury. When he got that fixed, when he was able to train full-time, we certainly saw in the Charlo fight, certainly saw against Munguia here in May exactly who he still is. He can do it all, though, when it comes to pressuring you or, like we said, staying on the outside. What type of demeanor do you expect to see from Canelo, knowing that I've got an opponent who's a little bit green compared to me, but certainly has youth and power and things you can't deny?
The one thing we haven't seen from Canelo is I don't ever recall us seeing him truly be hurt by a punch. So he's fighting a puncher, which is what he never fears. He doesn't care about a puncher. That being said, his goal is to go out here, take this guy who's supposed to be a puncher, take his confidence of hurting me away first, then take him into deep water and drown him.
On the flip side, if you're Berlanga, are you trying to win rounds early, or are you trying to get your respect?
I think you got to get your respect early, but you can't overdo it because you can punch yourself out in that first or second round, and also, you better believe it, he's going to feel the atmosphere. He's going to feel the presence of Canelo looking like he's going to do something, feigning, getting in position. Oh, he didn't throw. That's still taking wind from you. So it's an uphill battle for Berlanga, but it's always an uphill battle for the young guy facing a guy that's established like that. But this is what you dream of. This is what all the training is about. This is what the sparring is about. This is why you leave your family. So it's not a death sentence. It's something that you said you wanted. You got to rise to the occasion.
No question about it. And Andre, I didn't want to go too much further before talking about the great work you have been doing at All the Smoke Fight. I see the word authenticity come up a lot. What did you want to bring to the table as the face of something we've really never seen in the fight game, at least, seeing these fighters get that voice and be in the forefront like that?
I want to bring everything that I felt I didn't necessarily get. You know, it's tough talking to media sometimes because you don't come from the same background. They have a preconceived notion and opinion about you. Sometimes, not all, but sometimes they come to, you know, back in the day when we did print interviews, but then also YouTube and different things like that. They'll ask you questions sometimes and think they have the answer, like, this is how you feel, right? We don't want any of that at All the Smoke Fight. My thing is to allow you the platform, try to do the best I can to put you on a stage where you feel comfortable and you can answer questions that you've never really answered before, or answer them in a way that you've never answered them before, because interviewing shouldn't be hard. We got to take the concern about being trapped or something happening or you pulling a move and just give the males and females in this sport an opportunity to share their story and control their narrative.
Well, Roy, I wanted to go to you for the final word before we throw it up soon to the stage, see these fighters face off, step on the scales. Is there anything you need to see from Berlanga in this moment? Look, I'm a journalist, I'm a fan, I want to see some action up there, I want to see some pushing, I want to know that he's ready. But but that's not always the right emotion to have. What do you expect we see out of the Chosen One?
I don't want to see no pushing or none of that. I just want to see him make sure he makes his presence felt. Make sure he shows that you're gonna respect me from now till the end of tomorrow night. If I see that, then that gives us hope, gives us all hope for a great fight.
Just one more sleep, as the great John Anik would say. We are oh so close. It, of course, goes down Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, PBC on Prime Video Pay-Per-View, when Canelo Álvarez defends that trio of super middleweight titles against the one who's ready, the Chosen One, Edgar Berlanga. But we are ready right now to continue on in this weigh-in. We'll see the fighters on the scales. We'll see them face off. We'll be back on the other side to break things down. But for now, let's throw it up to the stage to Miguel Flores.
Good afternoon and welcome to Toshiba Plaza outside T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada, as Canelo Promotions presents our public weigh-in for tomorrow's stacked PBC Pay-Per-View event on Prime Video. We celebrate this Mexican Independence Day weekend, adding another chapter to the historic Mexico versus Puerto Rico rivalry as Saul Canelo Álvarez defends his unified super middleweight world titles against the hard-hitting Edgar Berlanga. It is all brought to you by Canelo Promotions and TGB Promotions in association with Matchroom Boxing. Sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. VMC Tequila Cocktails, El Origen Ante Todo. The Joker, Folie à Deux, in theaters October 4th. El Mexicano brand products bringing authentic sabor to your table. Somos El Mexicano. And O'Reilly Auto Parts, professional parts people. Now, before we get into our pay-per-view portion of the card, we have our PBC Prime Video prelims that will be streaming tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. Now, let's introduce the bout that will be headlining those prelims, a 10-round featherweight attraction. Introducing first with the record of 30 victories, including 14 by knockout, opposite of 2 defeats, fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona by way of Sonora, Mexico. He is on a 3-fight win streak. Here is Carlos Castro. Once again, Carlos Castro. And now let's bring up his opponent with a record of 21 victories, including 8 wins by knockout and just 1 blemish. Proudly representing Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, he is the former unified super bantamweight world champion, Cool Boy Stephen Fulton Jr. Once again, Cool Boy Stephen Fulton Jr. All right, we are now ready for both fighters to step onto the scales. Stepping onto the scale first, once again, out of Phoenix, Arizona, Carlos Castro. $125.6 for Castro. And now let's welcome his opponent, stepping onto the scale, once again, the former champion, Cool Boy Steph, Stephen Fulton Jr. 126 on the dot for Cool Boy Steph. Ten rounds in the featherweight division in the headlining bout for our PBC Prime Video Prelims. It is Carlos Castro against Cool Boy Steph, Stephen Fulton Jr. All right, I'm going to bring Carlos over here as he prepares for tomorrow night's bout. Carlos, you have fought some big names in the sport, and you're going to be adding another former champion to your resume, and Stephen Fulton. What does a win over a guy like Fulton with his resume do for your career?
A win means a lot, man. It'll do a lot. You know, it'll put me in the spot that I always wanted to be, and it'll put me in the spot that I deserve to be.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for Carlos Castro. And now we'll bring over Cool Boy as we are set to go for tomorrow. Stephen Fulton Jr., you are back. You've been excited. You've been waiting for this moment. New division. But again, you're looking to add another legacy to your legacy with the world champion. But first, you got to get through Carlos Castro. What type of statement are you looking to make in this new division?
I want knockouts throughout the division. I beat many champions that's already champion in the division already. So that's what I'm looking forward towards Saturday. And hopefully everybody come out here and we put on a hell of a performance to start the whole pay-per-view card off. So let's get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for Cool Boy Steph, Stephen Fulton Jr. Once again, our PBC Prime Video Prelims will start tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, inside the T-Mobile Arena. And now it is time to turn things over to the Hall of Famer, Mr. Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Toshiba Plaza here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We are in the shadows of the T-Mobile Arena, the site of tomorrow night's Mexican Independence Weekend boxing celebration. Of course, our main event of the evening is the unified super middleweight championship of the world in a classic boxing showdown of Mexico versus Puerto Rico, as Canelo Promotions and Premier Boxing Champions present a PBC Pay-Per-View on Prime event and our ceremonial weigh-in. Y a todos mis amigos mexicanos, bienvenidos, aficionados al box, al pesaje ceremonial de nuestra gran noche del boxeo en una celebración de la Día de la Independencia de México. Well, fans, our opening pay-per-view attraction features 10 rounds of boxing with knockout artists in the super lightweight division. First, please welcome to the stage at this time from Stockton, California. He's a hard-hitting super lightweight contender. Here is Manuel Jaimes. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome to the stage at this time in this 10-round special attraction from Las Vegas. Please welcome the former WBA super lightweight champion of the world, Rolando "Rolly" Romero. And now, fans, let's bring our fighters to the scale at this time. 10 rounds of boxing, super lightweight special attraction. First to the scale with a record of 16 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw, with 11 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the battle-ready Manuel Jaimes. 139 3/4 pounds, 139 3/4 for Manuel Jaimes. And now we invite to the scale with a record of 15 wins, 2 losses, 13 big wins coming by way of knockout. He is currently world-ranked contender. He is the colorful former champion of the world, Rolando "Rolly" Romero. 140 3/4 pounds, 140 3/4 pounds for Rolly Romero. And now we get an opportunity to hear from our fighters in our opening pay-per-view attraction. Please welcome to the microphone respected boxing host and commentator, Ray Flores. Let's bring our fighters a face-off, then we'll hear from Ray with our Q&A session. Pardon me? There they are, ladies and gentlemen. 10 rounds of boxing schedule. Opens up our pay-per-view event. Rolando "Rolly" Romero versus Manuel Jaimes. 10 rounds of boxing in the super lightweight division. And now, ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's hear from our Q&A host, Ray Flores.
All right, we are joined alongside by Manuel Jaimes. Manuel, this is the biggest stage in which you have fought on. You're seeing an amazing crowd here in Las Vegas. One day away, what does this mean to you?
This means everything. Like you said, it's the biggest stage. You don't get no bigger than this. I need this win. It's just going to catapult my career. I need this win. See my family back there? You got their heads back there. Hey!
How do you extend your win streak to 5 against the former world champion in Rolando "Rolly" Romero?
I'm just do what I do. I'm a great boxer myself. People keep underestimating me, don't know who I am, and they're going to know Saturday.
What's your prediction?
Vamos a ganar. Yeah.
Manuel Jaimes, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are joined alongside by the former WBA super lightweight champion of the world, Rolando "Rolly" Romero. Rolly, great to see you. As we take a look at this amazing crowd, I'm looking at your face. You're very focused. Is it fair to say that you have flipped the switch and are ready for tomorrow night?
Yeah, just ready for tomorrow night. You know, we're going to do this tomorrow.
How much does this fight mean to you as you are looking to get back into the win column?
It means everything. You know, we're here to win.
What's your prediction for tomorrow night, Rolly?
Knockout.
Rolando Romero predicting a knockout. Give it up for the former WBA Super Lightweight Champion of the World, Rolando "Rolly" Romero. Jimmy, back to you.
Thank you, Ray. Good job. We'll hear from Ray Flores for all 4 of the pay-per-view attractions tomorrow night. We'll hear from all the fighters, and we have a good one coming up. Well, fans from the Toshiba Plaza here at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, we continue with our weigh-in, and we bring out our first world title attraction at this time. Please welcome the fighters as they make their way to the stage. First, joining us from Glendale, California, by way of Yorkville, Illinois, please welcome the undefeated world-ranked super middleweight contender, Trevor McCumbee. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we invite to the stage his opponent. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Nashville, he's a former world champion. Please welcome the former IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the World, Caleb Plant. All right, fans, here we go. It's scale to the scale. Weight limit is 168 pounds. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the WBA interim super middleweight world title. First up, we have the undefeated fighter. His record 28-0 with 21 knockouts. Please welcome the undefeated world ranked contender, Trevor McCumbee. $167.25 pounds, 167.25 pounds for Trevor McCumbee. And now, ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, 22-2 with 2 losses, 13 of his wins coming by way of knockout. He is the current world ranked contender and the popular former super middleweight champion of the world, Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant weighs in the same as his opponent, 167.25 pounds, 167.25. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of emotion in this fight. 12 rounds of boxing. With the interim WBA Super Middleweight World Championship, Caleb Plant versus Trevor McCumbee.
Tomorrow night. Open your legs. You gotta interview. Open your legs. You gotta interview.
All right, we are joined alongside by the undefeated Trevor McCumbee. Trevor, it is clear that there is bad blood between you two. How satisfying of a win would this be for you over Caleb Plant tomorrow night?
It's going to be huge. He's a bitch, so I don't think anybody here likes him.
How do you get the job done over the former IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the world?
I'm going to break him down. I'm going to cave him in.
And your prediction for tomorrow night against Caleb Plant?
Fireworks, and my hand is going to be raised.
Ladies and gentlemen, the undefeated Trevor McCumbee. Now we are joined alongside by Caleb Plant, the former IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the world. The fans love you here in Las Vegas. You're a throwback fighter. Caleb, can you tell us about the words that were exchanged in that final face-off between you and Trevor McCumbee?
I told him tomorrow night's his last night. The gig is up. It's time to get the fuck out of here.
You have said from the beginning of this training camp, the revenge tour. What does that mean?
First stop, getting that WBA interim title put around my waist, and then, you know, bigger and better from there. I want to say shout out to my fans, shout out to all my vaqueros out there. Salute, I appreciate it. I love you guys. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the former IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the world, Caleb Plant. Jimmy, it's all yours.
Thank you, Ray Flores. Talented Ray Flores getting the most out of our fighters here this afternoon. And that's a big one. A lot of emotion, a heated showdown in the super middleweight division. Well, fans, once again from the Toshiba Plaza here in the shadows of the T-Mobile Arena, we move along, continue our way in. We are moving up to our co-main event of the evening. Please welcome the fighters as they make their way to the stage. First, ladies and gentlemen, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He is the well-known and respected former unified super lightweight world champion and the former WBC welterweight champion of the world. Please welcome Danny Swift Garcia.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, got it.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, his opponent is the defending champion, fighting out of Miami by way of Guantanamo, Cuba. He is the two-division and current WBA middleweight champion of the world. Please welcome Erislandi, the American Dream, Lara. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to bring our fighters to the scale. 160 pounds is the weight limit. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Middleweight Championship of the World. First, we present and bring our challenger to the scale. With a record of 37 wins and 3 losses, 21 of his wins have come by way of knockout. He'll be making his middleweight debut. He is the challenger. Please welcome the renowned 2-division champion of the world, Danny Swift Garcia. Danny Garcia weighs in at 156 1/4 pounds. 156 1/4 pounds. And now we invite the defending champion to the scale with a record of 30 wins, 3 losses and 3 draws. 18 of his wins come by way of knockout. He'll be making the 3rd defense of his title. Please welcome the current WBA middleweight champion of the world, Erislandy, the American Dream, Lara. Erislandy Lara weighs in at 156 3/4 pounds. 156 3/4. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. It's the co-main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Middleweight Championship of the World. Erislandy, the American Dream, Lara, defending his title against the renowned and now challenger, former world champion, Danny Swift Garcia. Now let's hear from both of our fighters. Once again, hand over the Q&A session to Ray Flores.
Thank you very much, Jimmy, alongside the 2-division world champion, Danny Garcia, making his middleweight debut. Danny, how do you feel here at 160 pounds?
I feel great. You know, to me, I'm chasing greatness, going for my 3rd division, and this is what the great fighters do. They go up in weight and chase greatness, and that's why I'm here today, and that's what I'm going to do tomorrow.
You have beaten the who's who in the sport, 2-division world champion, as you mentioned. But if you get your hand raised tomorrow night and become a 3-division world champion, would that be the biggest accomplishment in your storied career?
Yeah, definitely. When I turned pro, my dream was always to be a 3-division world champion. You know, 2's good. 2 puts you in that category, but 3 puts you in the Hall of Fame. And that's why I'm here. It's a historic fight for me and for the fans all around the world. If you know Danny Garcia, you know what I bring to the table.
How do you get the job done tomorrow night? What's your prediction for your matchup against Erislandy Lara?
You know, I just got to go in there and beat me. Beat Danny Garcia, go in there, set the tempo, have fun, make adjustments, and weather the storm.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Philadelphia, Danny Garcia. Now we are with the WBA middleweight champion of the world, Erislandy Lara. Erislandy, you've won 3 straight fights by way of knockout. Do you believe that you have the power to knock out Danny Garcia?
Erislandy has ganado 3 peleas seguidas por knockout. ¿Se viene la 4ª contra Danny Garcia?
Bueno, sinceramente no sé si se va a hacer la 4ª. Sé que va a terminar feo.
Look, I don't know if it's going to be the 4th, but I do know this fight is going to have an ugly ending.
Do you believe that he will not be as comfortable as he is here at 160? You fought here in the middleweight division. You're world champion. You've had several defenses. But do you think that the weight will be an issue for him in this matchup against you?
Sos un veterano de las 160 libras, mientras que él es nuevo en esto. ¿Sentís que lo va a incomodar el aumento de peso y que va a ser una ventaja para vos?
Bueno, no va a ser una ventaja. Solamente lo que hay que trabajar fuerte el día de mañana. Y creo que es el momento de no hablar tanto y resolver el problema.
I don't think it's going to be any sort of advantage. And it's time to stop talking. It's time to start working. Tomorrow night it's going to be a great fight. Tune in.
You are also boxing's oldest current world champion. How much does that mean for you to be able to outlast a lot of the guys that you began in the sport with?
Bueno, sos el campeón más veterano del boxeo en la actualidad. ¿Qué significa para vos el poder haber tenido una carrera más extensa que muchos de los que con los que vos llegaste al boxeo?
Bueno, significa mucho, ¿no? Significa mucho, ya que he hecho muchas cosas aquí en el boxeo ya profesional. Creo que significa mucho para mí y la victoria de mañana va a ser 100% un logro más.
It means a lot to me because being in pro boxing is hard enough, and tomorrow it's going to be one more victory under my belt.
Ladies and gentlemen, the WBA middleweight champion of the world, Erislandy Lara. Jimmy, back to you.
Thank you, Ray. Once again, that's our co-main event of the evening, WBA Middleweight Championship of the World, reminding you that our pay-per-view event begins at 9 p.m. But, of course, there's lots of fights before that. We go on live on Prime at 3 p.m., and we have fights even before that. So if you're a true boxing fan, show up early. There's a lot to see. Of course, we're leading up to bring out our fighters for the main event of the evening. But we have a little bit of a break as we are preparing something a little special. I know you're disappointed, but you won't be disappointed once you see what we have in store for you as we lead up to the entrance and the official weigh-in for the main event of the evening, the Unified Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Mexico versus Puerto Rico. Canelo Álvarez versus Edgar Berlanga. Coming up next, we're going to take a few minutes, not too long, and then we'll bring out our fighters.
Brian Campbell back with you in the midst of the humanity here outside T-Mobile Arena, Toshiba Plaza, and of course the weigh-in for Canelo versus Berlanga, 1 day out from the super middleweight title summit. And a reminder here that our partners at DraftKings have cooked up a great deal for boxing fans this weekend. All new customers to DraftKings who bet $5 will instantly receive $250 in bonus bets. That's $250 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. You can stay in on the action and use that $250 in bonus bets on DraftKings same game parlays. You can parlay the winning fighter with how you think they'll win for a sweet payout. Do you think Canelo continues his title reign and finishes Berlanga early, or maybe you think the chosen one is ready to upset the apple cart at 168 and make his name known across the sport? Either way, download that DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use that. New customers use this code FIGHTS, FIGHTS, and bet just $5. You will receive that $250 in bonus bets instantly. The promo code is FIGHTS, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. And remember, the crown is yours. As Jimmy Lennon Jr. just said, we're moments away from finding out whether they're on weight. Canelo Álvarez, Edgar Berlanga, Canelo's trio of super middleweight world titles on the line, where we see hot-blooded action between the two of them in the final face-off, or will it echo Wednesday's final press conference, which seemed to be much more cordial than that kickoff event in New York City in August? Either way, if you can say one thing about the 27-year-old Edgar Berlanga, he's brought the swagger of New York City with him. He's brought that celebrity clientele that backs him, and he has talked like he belongs. Some have dismissed him in this matchup. Some have said the inexperience will show, but how could you ever equal the experience when you're in the ring against such a legend, a living legend, a surefire first ballot Hall of Fame in Álvarez, who we forget sometimes, right? Turned pro at age 15, now 34 years old, still in the midst of that top 10 pound-for-pound rankings. He gets his respect, but 19 years into his pro career, still on top, still making big fights. I mean, we always look back to that 2013 matchup here in Las Vegas against Floyd Mayweather, which put Canelo Álvarez on the pay-per-view map, so to speak, and almost in a way kicked off boxing's new era post-Mayweather-Pacquiao, which certainly Canelo has been the face of. Don't forget, Danny Swift Garcia was in the co-main that night and scored that big upset victory over Lucas Matisse. And the two of them, meaning Álvarez and Garcia, are in the main and co-main event all these years later. We saw Danny Garcia on the scales just recently, 36 years old. He's had an interesting run of late, meaning that he sat out for 2 years, said he thought he was going to fight Lara a few times, got himself into training camp, but the time wasn't right. Now the time is, so he'll move up in weight one more time, try to become that 3-division title holder, and as he just told Ray Flores, stamp his Hall of Fame passport, which already saw him be a unified champion at 140, win titles at 147. He moved up to junior middleweight the last time we did see him in a 152-pound catchweight against Jose Benavidez Jr. But Danny said this week when I talked to him, he's not sure if when he wins on Saturday, if he will continue on in his career. He'll make that decision based on how it goes, but he is so focused to be back in there. And it's such an interesting matchup when you consider that Lara also a small middleweight and also a fighter who's at the twilight of his career at age 41, yet that recent streak, you wouldn't know it. He's changed his game, has the American Dream, once the class of the 154-pound division as that sniper counterpuncher and pure boxer. Maybe the legs have slowed down a bit, but we've seen him score big-time stoppages after moving up to middleweight, relying more on that power. What is it actually going to look like in Saturday's WBA middleweight title bout when Danny Garcia, who had big power at 40, big power at welterweight, can he carry that power up? He's always had an incredible chin. In fact, never forget late in that Matisse upset win, he had his mouthpiece knocked out of his mouth and into the crowd, but still is one of the most durable fighters of his era. A very interesting matchup as you continue to see the live shots of the swarms of humanity here outside T-Mobile Arena. It is another chapter in the can't lose rivalry between Mexico and Puerto Rico, and certainly can't lose because the matchups are always so competitive and contested. We'll see if Saturday is the case, but that's enough for me for now. It's time for Berlanga and Alvarez to step to the scales. Let's throw it back on the stage. And Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Time has come to bring out our fighters for the main event of the evening, the featured attraction for the PBC Pay-Per-View featured bout, brought to you by Canelo Promotions and TGB Promotions in association with Matchroom Boxing. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage first the challenger, proudly representing his Puerto Rican heritage and hailing from Brooklyn, New York. He'll be making his first attempt at a world title. Please welcome the battle-ready world-ranked challenger, introducing the chosen one, Edgar Berlanga. And now, ladies and gentlemen, el orgulloso guerrero de Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, the 4-division world champion, boxing's first undisputed super middleweight champion, and the current popular unified super middleweight champion of the world, Canelo Álvarez. All right, fans, here we go. Let's bring our fighters to the scale. Weight limit is 168 pounds. For the main event of the evening, 12 rounds of boxing for the unified super middleweight championship of the world. First, we present the challenger to the scale. Undefeated in his campaign in the ring with a record of 22 wins, no losses, 17 big wins coming by way of knockout. He is the challenger. Here is the hard-hitting, battle-ready knockout artist introducing the chosen one, Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga weighs in at 167 and 1/2 pounds. 167 and 1/2 pounds. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is the defending world champion and the superstar of boxing with a record of 61 wins, only 2 losses and 2 draws, with 39 wins coming by way of knockout. He'll be making his 26th world title appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the reigning and defending unified super middleweight champion of the world, Saul Canelo Álvarez. 166 3/4 pounds. 166 3/4 pounds for the defending world champion. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. It's the main event of the evening, 12 rounds. Unified Super Middleweight Championship of the World, Mexico versus Puerto Rico. Saul Canelo Álvarez versus the chosen one, Edgar Berlanga. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to hear from both of our fighters. We're going to hear from the challenger and the champion. We'll begin with the challenger, Edgar Berlanga. I'll hand over the duties to Ray Flores.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. Well, Edgar, you have always craved a moment like this. Now that we are a day away from the biggest fight of your career, being in this atmosphere, your final face-off with Canelo, what did you take away from that stare down?
Shit, it's a war tomorrow. Puerto Rico versus Mexico. Vamos arriba, Puerto Rico en la casa, puñeta, como siempre. ¿Me entiendes? Viva Puerto Rico, puñeta. Mañana es guerra. Me gusta esto. I love all this right here, man. It's all fuel for me, man. It's all fuel. I belong here. You hear me? I belong here. And I'm ready for it. Jesus is king. God is king. And Jesus Christ gonna get the glory, man.
How big of a win would this be, not only for you, but also you are very proud of your Puerto Rican heritage, but for the entire country of Puerto Rico?
Oh man, this is legendary right here. This is history. You know, tomorrow's history, man. All of this right here, none of this shit don't faze me, man. You know, this comes with it, you know. So I gotta continue, I gotta be great tomorrow, that's all. You know, give God the glory, and it's gonna be written, man. It's our story tomorrow. You know, it's Canelo's show, but like always, man, we coming in to kick the door and destroy the party, man.
You're 22-0. How do you get to 23-0 and upend the great Saul Canelo Álvarez?
Knockout, knockout. And then the rematch, we bringing it to New York. The rematch, we bringing it to New York. Puerto Rican Day weekend.
Finally, Edgar, what do you want to tell all the fans out there that'll be watching around the world and those here at T-Mobile Arena?
You want me to be honest? I love y'all, man. Thank y'all for everything, man. I love y'all, you hear me? I love you guys. All the haters, all the supporters, I love y'all, man. You know, y'all just make us great. You know, Jesus is king, God is king, and tomorrow he gonna be king tomorrow, man. I love you guys. Thank y'all for the support.
Good luck to Edgar Berlanga tomorrow night. Good luck to you, sir. We look forward to seeing you in the ring against the great Saul Canelo Álvarez, the undefeated Edgar Berlanga, ladies and gentlemen. And now we are with the great Saul Canelo Álvarez desde Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. Saul, you have fought here on Mexican Independence Day weekend at least 5 times, but now that you are doing it again, what does this mean to you?
No, esto significa mucho para mí. Muchas gracias. Gracias por todo su apoyo, como siempre. Se los agradezco mucho y no me queda más que pagarles con una gran victoria el sábado.
Well, it means a lot to me, and I'm really appreciative of all of you out here. The only way I can repay you all is with a victory this Saturday night.
What did you take away from your final stare down with Edgar Berlanga?
No tengo mucho que decir. Estoy listo para el sábado para demostrar con hechos. Lo que sí te tengo que decir es que estoy seguro que él se va a enfrentar a alguien muy diferente a lo que está acostumbrado.
Look, I don't have much to say about Berlanga anymore. What I can tell you is that he's about to face someone that's very, very different from what he's accustomed to.
He's saying he's going to knock you out. What is your prediction for tomorrow night against Edgar Berlanga?
It's very easy to say, but he's going to find out Saturday night. It's going to be something different.
And finally, Saul, what do you want to tell all the fight fans that'll be watching around the world, especially the Mexican fight fans that have supported you from the very beginning, because Mexico will be here in Las Vegas?
Muchas gracias a todos por su apoyo. Los espero el sábado. Mañana va a ser una gran pelea para todos ustedes y que viva México, cabrones!
Thank you very much, everyone, for your support. It's going to be a party, a great fight tomorrow. And viva Mexico, cabrones!
The unified super middleweight champion of the world from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, Saul Canelo Álvarez.
The stage is set here in Las Vegas for the super middleweight title showdown. Tomorrow night in the building next to us, T-Mobile Arena. Canelo Álvarez and Edgar Berlanga both made weight. They are ready to go. You saw that very intense face-off between them just now here in Toshiba Plaza as the legendary Mexico versus Puerto Rico boxing rivalry adds one more chapter. And Canelo Álvarez's first time back in this rivalry since he defeated Miguel Cotto in 2015 here in Las Vegas to win the middleweight title. Brian Campbell back with a pair of Dre's, Andre Berto, Andre Durrell. Fellas,
fight time.
We didn't see any physical action. We didn't see a lot of trash talk.
Yeah.
We saw some intensity. Andre Durrell, what'd you take away from the stare down between them?
Man, we got the stare down. That's just what it was, man. Both of them sized each other up. I again believe Berlanga is quite deceived by the size of Canelo. Once he steps in the ring, he always shows that he stands toe-to-toe with any matchup, man. And though he's ready, I believe tomorrow he'll get the real Canelo and he'll understand the severity of his case.
Well, Berlanga will have a 5.5-inch height advantage. We know he's a big puncher, but, you know, Canelo, Berto, is thick.
That boy looks solid.
We were talking about the abs on Big Red at age 34. No stone left unturned in training camp.
Oh, definitely not, definitely not. I'm excited. I see it looks like Canelo is very, very confident. I don't know what I felt from Berlanga quite yet, because like I said, we have to see what happens tomorrow. This may be a mask that he's just trying to show in front of the crowd, in front of his friends, in front of his people. As you can see, he had a few celebs with him. But Canelo has done this plenty times before. He has a massive crowd that's out here ready to support him. It looks like he's going to go in there and just try to, you know, and get ready to put on the show. But he looks solid. He looks solid.
Hey, boy, did he look solid. Berlanga as well, but Canelo, you saw the work he put in. I believe he was just over 166 pounds for this super middleweight bout. Well, let's go back to Berlanga here. He did tell Red Flores just a moment ago, I belong here. And I'm going to show you that. I will say, he looks the part. I didn't see nerves. I didn't see fear. It's another thing to go out there, as Canelo said, and beat him, but I think he's selling his confidence.
I agree, man. You know, a lot of the times the weigh-ins can feel like the competition. When you're standing in front of your opponent, your opposition, shirt off, feels like you're in the ring, right? And so we get that feeling. This is what Berlanga felt tonight, and he feels good about it. However, once Canelo goes, eats up, get that energy back, builds that body where it is, he's going to look at it, and I believe he's going to say, okay, I'm in a real fight today, and I got to prove myself right here, right now. I'm glad he's presenting himself well, but again, it's going to be a difficult night for him tomorrow.
What was your mentality, Andre, in going into these face-offs for these big fights? Did you want to send a message, or was it more about just showing out?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, my body was kind of shredded up and kind of
amazing. This guy was tricked up at birth.
You know what I mean? So I always wanted to try to present myself well and let everybody know that I had a tremendous training camp by the way that I looked. But this part is the fun part. This part is the part that we all enjoy as fighters. We've had a long, you know, strenuous training camp. We finally made weight. See all our friends and fans. That's going to make us feel good. But tonight, later on tonight when he has to go to sleep knowing and thinking that tomorrow's really the big day. And everything, all the work that we put in and everybody that's here that weigh-ins, they're going to be at that fight tomorrow night and I need to show up. And that's one thing about it, the atmosphere, getting ready for that fight, walking into that arena, making your way to walk to that ring, that's a completely different feeling, man. So we're going to see if that type of pressure is going to crush Berlanga, or is he going to have that same confidence that he had there on the stage to walk into that ring and make it happen.
Yeah. Can he bring, well, he might be able to bring that same energy. Obviously the big question, and what the odds makers have dealt with, is what can he bring to the table to win that fight? So when you look at him, if he came to you, Andre Dirrell, and said, Unk, I need some advice here. How do I fight Canelo Álvarez? How do I overcome that large experience gap? We said it the other day, Canelo has nearly twice as many knockouts as Berlanga has pro fights.
Right, man. It's a tough situation there for sure. But if he came to me looking for the answer, I would tell him utilize what he has, which is his power. Let him know that he's going to be there, right? So first things first, I'm going to give my respect that first round. And if he does that tomorrow, at least he'll set the stage to let Canelo that he's ready. Canelo know that he's ready.
Easier said than done. The great Jim Lampley, the Hall of Fame broadcaster, was saying this week, he said, I think Canelo might have the strongest chin in boxing history. And at first you're like, whoa, Jim. Whoa, Jim. But then you start to think about it. We saw him get rocked against Jose Miguel Cotto back in 2010. We've seen him walk through Danny Jacobs, Gennady Golovkin, in a firefight with Dmitry Bivol where he held his own. Can you hurt Canelo Álvarez?
Man, I mean, like I said, I'm gonna say this is the fight game. Anything can happen. And Berlanga, of course, he has a lot of great power. But like I say, it's going to be a tall feat. It's going to be a tall feat tomorrow. And that's another thing as well, man. You're fighting a guy that really has a beard on him. You know what I mean? That really has a beard on him as well. So he has so many different things that are going against him. But I'm never going to put anything past a great fighter that has had a tremendous training camp and really believes in himself that he can make it happen. Let's see if he can shock the world tomorrow.
Can the belief, Andre Dirrell, overcome what he doesn't have? We've seen upsets before.
It starts with belief, man. So Berlanga is going to have to give us that to know that he's a competitor in this sport. That's all I want to see, is the fight in him, the grit in him, and a good performance, win, lose, or draw.
But there's so many unknowns because he's got a hot start to his young career, had that 16-fight first-round knockout streak. You can argue that put him on the map. Maybe it held him back in his growth. But then he won 5 fights by decision. He's recently trained trainers go back to his original coach, Mark Ferre. We saw him stop Padraig McCrory, the unbeaten super middleweight, to get this fight. Can you use the unknown as a strength? You know, because Canelo only has so much tape on this guy.
I mean, like I said, everybody that he has competed against and beaten, and of course, it's always great to see knockouts. He had a nice knockout streak, but like I said, this is a completely different level. This is a completely different level of the game, and the only thing that we can do is just wait and see what happens tomorrow. I hope that the young kid, finds confidence within himself, and really, maximizes this moment and really feels. You have to feel like you're going to defeat this giant.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's in front of you. That's how you're going to become a champion. He's going to be able to make history tomorrow if he can change that mind frame and go in there and make it happen.
We look at Canelo. We can say all we want that Berlanga's got to hurt him early, get that respect. What do you think Canelo has to do in this matchup, given that Berlanga's got size, youth, he doesn't know how to lose, he seems to have the balls, the confidence, the huevos, if you will. How does Canelo deal with that?
Have fun. He's Canelo. Canelo can fight. We all know that. He knows that. Get in the ring, do what you've been doing. Easy.
Have you seen any signs of slippage for him at age 34?
Man, he's slowing a bit. He fights in spurts somewhat, right? But he still has that. He still has that killer instincts, and he still can fight.
But I think the experience with Canelo now, of course, he may be slipping a little bit, but he's gained so much in experience that he doesn't have to exert himself so much now. So now he can sit back and pick his shots. I believe he's just a lot more smarter now. He's going to be able to pick those shots that's going to be able to hurt his opponent and take him out. He can take his time now.
Well, the one thing that does happen to an aging fighter sometimes is if you can see a little bit, it's maybe they don't fight as hard for the full 3 minutes, don't have that same output. Is that an onus on Berlanga to push that pace early on with that big jab?
He could, but I think he'll sense Canelo's confidence, right? And his bravado. So Berlanga's going to have to take his time, find his shots. Don't be reckless. Get in there and perform to the best of your ability. That's all you can do, and hopefully you'll get the win.
It's going to be a tough night, man. It's going to be a tough night. But, you know, I mean, I think it's going to be an exciting night. We're going to be able to witness a young kid that possibly can come into, you know, superstardom tomorrow night. And that's a wonderful thing about the fight game. That's a wonderful thing about boxing. We never know what's going to happen. Of course, we all have Canelo picked. But Berlanga, like I said, he has confidence from what I can see. He has confidence. He has great power. He has a strong faith. I'm throw a strong fan base behind him, and we're going to see what happens Saturday night.
Well,
it's going to be an amazing one.
Calls himself the chosen one.
There you go.
What he's going to have to figure out is he the chosen one because Canelo chose him, or is it his time? He's been talking almost in a divine sense that he believes it's his time to upset the world. We talked about it earlier. The great Andre Ward had a chance to sit down on All the Smoke fight in training camp in Boulder, Colorado with Berlanga and really pick his brain and see what we're dealing with here in this young fighter who's stepping up to the highest level. Let's look back on a bit of that.
That night is do or die, you know, and Mark told me, you know, I got to be great for 36 minutes that day.
No
just
doubt.
for 36 minutes.
No doubt.
He told me, just for 36 minutes, you got to be the best version of yourself, bro. Just for 36 minutes.
No doubt.
Now, it determines who you want to be September 15th.
Mm-hmm.
September 14th, you Edgar Berlanga, you find Canelo. But who you're going to wake up September 15th is what's going to determine what you do September 14th.
That was the Art of Ward and Andre Ward sitting down on All the Smoke fight with Edgar Berlanga. And gentlemen, Edgar said, look, I got to be perfect for 36 minutes. So in a best case scenario, what is it about Berlanga's game? If he can come out here, throw that no-hitter, that perfect game with that baseball reference, what do you need to see out of him offensively to know that he's in control of this fight?
Combination punches, proper movement, utilizing the ring, taking advantage of any open opportunity he sees, and stay cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah.
Dre, what do you like about his game?
You know, like I said before, man, I want to see Berlanga come out with a made-up mind. That he's going to come out confident. He's going to come out stepping on the gas to gain his respect. And if Canelo hits him with a tough shot, he's not going to waver. He's going to be right in the mix, ready to go. That's what I want to see. I want to see a confident Berlanga, a young, hungry Berlanga that we all can see that he is coming to fight. And, you know, it's going to make Canelo think like, okay, well, I probably need to, probably take a few more steps to the side or whatever the case may be. But he may try to take a different approach at that point. But I want to see Berlanga coming to fight and coming to want to make history.
I want to see that same attitude. It's like you look back at great upsets we've seen as boxing fans and you say, what was I missing coming in that I should have saw? Think Ricardo Mayorga upsetting Vernon Forrest at the time that he had a claim for the pound-for-pound throne. Excuse me. You never know what's going to happen in that ring. But, gentlemen, it's not just the main event on this loaded pay-per-view card. We've got names up and down. Before the pay-per-view begins at 8 p.m. Eastern time, those prelims on Prime Video, the featured fight. How about Stephen Fulton Jr., Philadelphia's own cool boy Steph, once the class of the 122-pound division had that super fight there against Naoya Inoue, didn't go his way, took over a year off. He's moving up in weight. Carlos Castro is no joke as an opponent across from him. This is big time to make a statement.
Yeah, for sure. I believe he has to come in and make a statement. I mean, the fight with Inoue, it was a big fight. It was a tough fight. Of course, he took the loss. He took a good amount of time off as well. I believe everybody is sitting back to wait and see how he's going to come back to see if that loss took something from him mentally. You know what I mean? So I think it's up to him to really step up to the plate and show everyone that that loss didn't really do anything to him mentally, and he's ready to get back in there and just take the #1 spot.
I was going to say that, Dre. Is it more important mentally or physically when you purposely take that time off and step away like this?
It's definitely both. He's going to be fighting 3 battles tomorrow. 1, the battle to get back in position. You know what I'm saying? 2, the fight. And then 3, you know what I'm saying? Man, I lost myself there.
Well, it's a good transition there because we have Stephen Fulton talking. He sat down with Steven Jackson of All the Smoke in that fantastic Fight Town series, which visited Philadelphia. We've got to get Fight Towns to come to where you. I mean, can we go to Michigan here? Although you're representing Georgia these days.
Florida, baby.
Let's throw to Steven Jackson talking with Cool Boy Steph about that mindset.
Not really reinventing yourself, but bouncing back after a loss. What does that entail? What does that take? To get back mentally, yeah.
Yeah.
What does it take though?
I feel like you gotta just.
I'm asking you these questions because you're getting back to the person we know. I don't like the motherfucker that walked in the gym when I called you champ. You said ex-champ. No, you're gonna be a champ to me forever. You're gonna be a former. You said former champ, but you're gonna be a champ to me forever. Whether you like it or not, I'm addressing you as a champ. And that's all I know you as, and I'm gonna continue to address that. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna accept that from me.
Act like one.
Yeah, goddamn right.
You're gonna accept that from me.
I'm your homeboy. I ain't just interviewing you. I'm your homeboy.
Look, don't do me like that. Don't treat me like that.
Yeah, nah, you know what it is. You know what it is.
That's a fact.
That's funny.
So, but what does it take, you know, to get back to who we know?
It takes a lot. It's hard work within yourself, like your mental. You have to face the things that you've been through first and foremost.
Accountability.
Yeah, you gotta face those things. You gotta understand why those things happen.
Right.
Live up to those things. Allow yourself not to feel so much pain towards what you've been through, that whatever it is that made you mental. Or you
can't be down on yourself.
Yeah. So it's like, right now though, I'm in a cool space. I don't give a F about nothing. Yeah.
Love the transparency there from Fulton about how hard and important that mental battle is of rebuilding yourself. Remember, he was in the pound-for-pound top 10. He beat Brandon Figueroa in the fight of the year a few years ago. A new weight class for him, but if you heard him earlier after stepping on the scales, he said, I'm coming for knockouts.
There you go.
He's a fighter that can do it all, but maybe he comes with that attitude.
And that's what I'm saying. He has to come with that attitude, and especially, like I said, you know, just me, myself, I've been in that position as well, to be able to be so extremely confident and dominating everything. And going through my first loss, it was a mental situation. I really had to fight back, you know what I mean, mentally, to really make sure that I still had it. Make sure, how, you know, what went wrong, and, you know, how can I change things up to try to push it forward and really get that respect like I know I needed. So I think that he's going to come in tomorrow and trying to get a knockout.
Yeah.
And trying to make his presence known in the division and let everybody know that he hasn't gone anywhere.
Well, let's put some respect on the Birdo name. That loss you're talking about was the fight of the year in 2011 against Victor Ortiz, and you got him back in the rematch.
Oh, yes, I did.
They were throwing pizza from the crowd. It got wild. Andre Dirrell, it's also a bounce-back opportunity for one of my favorite fighters. I can't hide it, Rolando Rolly Romero. I can never tell on the mic, is he doing a comedic bit or is he just zoned in? He's got Manuel Jaimes in front of him, but the last time we saw Rolly against Pitbull Cruz, man, it was one-way traffic. It didn't go his way. Is he the type of fighter you think that can forget that, move past it like he did the Tank fight, and come back with a statement?
His mind is always telling him he's a winner, right? He has a crazy amount of confidence, man, and that's all he needs, man. For the fighter that he is, very awkward, you know, he throw you off quickly, but he's strong as well, so you have to watch out, man. He's always going to be a danger, and when he gets in the ring tomorrow, he's going to prove that.
Jaimes was talking a big game. This is the biggest fight, the biggest opportunity in his career, but he's also a big underdog here. And when you look at Rolly, just a few fights now with his new trainer, Ismael Salas, from the Cuban school. Can you add craft to that raw power of what Rolly brings to the table?
Like I said, we're going to see. We're going to see, you know, like Rolly's a little crazy, but I believe that was great that he added, you know, somebody else to his camp as well. But one thing about, you know, bringing in these new trainers, sometimes it takes a few camps.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's going to take 2 or 3, 4 different fights, you know, for all those new skills to hone in, because Rolly's been fighting the same way for so long. So we're going to see tomorrow night to see if he's going to be able to, you know, adjust to this new style and try to implement.
To Mr. Andre Dirrell, we're also going to see the former super middleweight title holder Caleb Plant in a bounce-back fight. 18-month layoff since that Benavidez loss, but he's got a guy, Trevor McCumbee, who wants to bring the fire to him. What are your expectations here?
Man, I don't know much about Trevor McCumbee, but when I saw that boy on the scale, I was surprised, man. Listen, these boys were cut up, man. So I know he's coming to bring it. He's not going to lay down. I believe he's going to present somewhat of a threat, and Caleb has a job to do tomorrow. He has to continually prove himself. So when he gets in there with McCumbee, he has to show us that he still has it.
Yeah, you want to see what that new camp with Breadman Edwards, his trainer, just a couple fights in, can do for him. And that co-main event we want to close with here. Danny Swift Garcia moving up to middleweight. Erislandy Lara, who we loved at 154, at age 41, he's still around. Oh, kind of an odd fight, but a good one, because I don't know what's going to look like.
That's my fight of the night that I really want to watch. To be honest, I believe, you know, Danny Garcia has a nice little hill he has to climb tomorrow night. You got a guy like Lara that I believe that Danny Garcia's style is perfect for him, because
Laura knows how to use angles. He comes from that Cuban school as well. He knows how to move. He knows how to pick shots. And he's at a point in his career right now, him being a little older, he's starting to sit there a little bit and, generate some power. So, and just me hearing him speak up there, I believe that he's looking for a knockout as well. So, like I said, we're going to see. But I think that's the fight I'm looking forward to.
Can't wait. A loaded card Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, PBC on Prime Video, pay-per-view. It's Canelo versus Berlanga. Thank you so much for watching us here on All the Smoke Fight.
It's going to be good.
Taking over the combat sports space.
Oh, yeah.
Making a statement in the boxing
That's
world.
a fact.
We saw Roy Jones, Andre Ward earlier. We've seen the great work, Andre Berto and Andre Durrell, that you guys have done. It's letting the fighters have their piece in front of the microphone. Speaking.
All the smoke fight, baby. We taking over.
That's what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Fights go down Saturday night. One more sleep. Do not miss it. For Andre Durrell, Andre Berto, I am Brian Campbell. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the fight Saturday night from T-Mobile Arena.
It's fight time, baby.